Hello my friends, it's Ellen the Baker Chick with a new recipe here for you today. I'm feeling a little crazy. I've been in the house, not for any bad reasons. I wasn't sick, but I've just been in the house, and I went to the grocery store today and I was super hyper and I was talking to everybody in the grocery store, saying hello to babies, just a chatterbox today, all full of sunshine and rainbows and giggles. So now you know what kind of mood I'm in. Today I'm going to make my master butter dough, and it'll be posted in the description. Don't worry, you'll find it. And I'm going to tell you where the description is in a minute. But I'm going to make my master butter dough, but I have a new filling. It's not cinnamon, sugar, and butter. It's not raisins. It's not chocolate. Are you ready to meet the star of the show? Besides me, that is. Are you ready? Okay. I'm gonna go get the first star. The first star of the show is Granny Smith apples. Who doesn't like an apple dessert? So these are beautiful. I just went to get them this morning, and I have one more big star of the show. Can you guess? Told you it's not cinnamon. What could it be? Are you ready? This is going to be a little harder to see. This is salted caramels. Now, you can buy any caramels and then just add some salt. Again, I've said in so many videos, I buy this brand because these are tree nut free and I'm allergic to nuts. So I have to buy alternate groceries to support my habit of wanting things that are tree nut free. So I have to be careful. So these are Bouquet brand. I get them from the Natural Candy Store as an online store, or I get them on Amazon. They're so yummy. You can also get non-salted. And if you're not a salted caramel person and you just want regular caramels, that's okay too. So these are the stars of the show. I'm going to make a roll up type thing, but in a big, round, deep pan. So it'll be more like a pull apart coffee cake type thing. And they are salted caramel apple rolls. So in a minute, we're going to turn off the camera so you don't have to watch me weigh and measure everything, because you know, that's kind of boring. Let me get all my ingredients measured. I'm going to quickly get them in the bread pan, and I'm going to set my bread machine for dough coarse, and then I'm going to show you the next step. I have weighed out my ingredients. I've put them in the bread pan according to the manufacturer's directions, and let me say something about that. If you read a recipe that says, put this in first, then that, then that, then that, you need to disregard that. It has to go in according to what your bread machine says. So you must read your manuals and your recipe books. Your recipe book for your bread machine should have them in the correct order if you're using those recipes. But for my recipe, for example, it's liquids and then flour and then salt on one side, sugar on the other, yeast in the middle, butter along the sides, just like I do it. You've seen me do that before. If you need a review of that, go to my bread machine white bread for newbies video here on my channel. If you want to make this recipe, it is going to be fully in the description of the recipe. If you are using a mobile device, like a smartphone or an iPad, at least on mine, my iPhone or my iPad, if you click on the video and under the screen, you'll see the title of the video. Directly across from that is a tiny little down arrow. And if you click that, the description will come on. Excuse me. But on a computer, if you're watching the video, you're going to see the word description. And if you click the word description, the description shows on the right side of the monitor, right side of the screen. At least that's what mine does. I hope you can find it on yours. I know everybody's devices are different and configured different. That's the best I can do. You can leave a comment below saying, I have this kind of phone or this kind of tablet or this kind of computer, and this is where it shows, and that might be helpful for someone else. So obviously if I'm making apples, they're not gonna go whole into this recipe. I have to have a good time here peeling all these apples. And once I peel them, I'm going to cut them up into not the neatest little chunks. I would say maybe half a fingertip. I'm not a precise chopper, so however they turn out, they're going to be kind of mushy anyway. And I am going to cook them in the with the caramels. So when we get to that point, I will come back. I will show you. I don't think you really need to watch me peel apples, but I will show you after I've chopped the apples what that looks like. And then we will video the process of cooking the apples and adding the caramels. And I've gotten all of the apples peeled and chopped. And I have a big pot here. And you can see the size. They're not all the same. I'm not that person. You perfectionists out there, dice to your heart's content. So we're gonna switch angles here, and I'm gonna take this pot over to where my videographer is standing, and he's gonna go over there right now. Sorry, I didn't warn him. And I'm just going to turn this to about medium. And, you know, it'll take a few minutes for the apples to start cooking. And in the meantime, I'm going to start peeling. And they're pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is not make you watch me peeling 3,000 caramel candies or cook the apples the whole way through. What you want to do, you don't want to make applesauce, but you want to get the apples fairly soft. Now, even though I'm making salted caramel apples, if you want to basically take this same recipe and just make cinnamon apples, your bread or your dessert or whatever you want to call it, it's totally customizable. If you like caramel but you don't like chocolate caramel or chocolate, I'm thinking about chocolate because I love chocolate. By the way, look how squishy these are. And notice that they're sticky, but they're not super sticky. So anyway, you can flavor the apples. I mean, maybe you want to fill it with apple, cinnamon, and cranberries or something. I mean, it's totally up to you. Everything I give you is a suggestion. Now I have to check my dough, so we're gonna move over to the bread machine now. My poor husband, I didn't warn him about any of this. I always have, when I check dough, a little bit of flour in the bottom in case I need it, and a little bit of water. Even though this recipe has half and half in it, or you can use whole milk, I always just add a little. How much liquid are you adding? Enough. Yeah, I'm not going to bother to go get the milk out of the fridge. Someone asked me that recently. You can if you want, but I don't bother. If it just needs a little bit of liquid, I add just water from the tap. This actually might be perfect. 5 minutes is up and about done. Good timing. So we're gonna look in there, and actually it's not sticky. I mean, you see grease on my hands from the butter, but the pan is clean. There's no flour around the edges. There's no dough puddling under. It's not too wet. It's not too dry. It is just like Goldilocks, just right. So I'm going to close this and let it go on. I don't need my extra liquid and extra flour. I'm just going to stick it over there. And now you can see that I put just, by the way, a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan just to get started. You know that the apples will release some liquid. So I'm going to just continue to cook these. Like I said, I want them soft, but still have a little bit of body and chew to them. Again, this is a personal choice too. I'm not making applesauce. If you want to make applesauce, you go for it. In fact, if you made applesauce and mixed it with cinnamon and butter, sounds yummy, right? But I am doing salted caramel today. So we're going to turn off the camera so you don't have to be bored. I'm going to stir my apples and peel my caramels. I forgot to tell you how many of the caramels. This is an 8-ounce bag, and I'm using both of, so 16 ounces basically. And the ingredients are brown sugar, tapioca syrup, heavy cream, butter, fructose, milk, sugar, sea salt, natural flavor, salt. And it doesn't say they're in a nut-free, is that nut-free? Anyway, but I know that they are. So, and they are so yummy. So that's the information on the caramels. So apples are still cooking. And we're maybe, I don't know, halfway. And then I have peeled a bunch of caramels. I'm going to use about this much in the apples, and then I'm going to leave these for making like a caramel sauce for the topping. Okay, so this is the amount I'm going to put inside, and I just weighed it. Wait, I've already forgot. I think it was 308 grams that I'm going to actually put in the apples. All right, so I think my apples are where I want them. I'm going to put a couple pieces. I'm holding the camera. This is not easy. They're not quite like, you can't really mash them like you would mash potatoes, but easily cut. So they're done. They're cooked, sort of cooked, but they have still, sorry for the camera work, still some crispness to them. So now I'm going to just, well, maybe I'll get those later. And sorry for the bad video, but I'm now going to put the caramels in one clump. And I've turned my stove pretty low. It's on simmer. Maybe I'll go, come on, up one. And I don't want to burn this caramel, and I'm going to need 2 hands because it's moving my pot. But I'm going to stir this until all of the caramels melt, and we'll go from there. I've been stirring this and melting the caramels for maybe 3 minutes, and it's coming along. So just wanted to show you what that looked like. What I love about this salted caramel and Granny Smith apple mixture is that you have kind of 3 flavors all at once. I love layers of flavors, don't you? So we have the sort of tang or tart of the Granny Smith apples. You have the sweet of the caramel, but you also have the salt of the sea salt that's in the caramel. If you don't like salting caramel, don't use the salted caramel, just use regular ones. It's up to you. So I'm just going to continue to stir. Well, I couldn't help myself. I had to taste a piece of apple or 2 or 5. And I will tell you that that amount of caramel for the 6, I would have called them medium-sized Granny Smiths. I was right on with the measurements. I haven't really measured out. Like, I just know I had 6 apples, and I think I had 6 apples, and the 300 grams of caramels, and then I have this left over because there will be a caramel sauce on top. But I tasted some apple, and I'm really pleased because there's still the tang of the apple, and there's the caramel and the salt, but none are super strong flavor. It's just a really nice layered flavor profile, if I want to sound like a fancy chef, which I'm not, but I just kind of messed with this, and I haven't made it since March, and I didn't really remember how much I used of anything, so totally winging it here, but that's kind of my style. I'm a tornado in the kitchen, and I like to just do things when I think of them and how I do them. So these will cool off. They have a whole hour to cool off. And my dough, we're on rise. If you can see the rise right there. And there it is. It's kind of hard to see. There's always a glare. There we go. It's just only been rising for like 2 minutes. So it's not there yet. Anyway, next stop will be rolling it all out, rolling it all out, filling it, forming it, rising it, baking it. Yum. And we're back. I've taken the dough out of the bread machine and rolled it out. Now, if you are capable of making a rectangle out of your dough, I bow to you. I can't not do it. I've even watched YouTubes. Roll it out to the corners, they say. It'll be easy, they say. I can't ever do it. But you know what? It really doesn't matter for me. So here is my apple filling that you saw before. And this is salted butter, a stick and a half. I don't remember how many grams that is, but it's a stick and a half of butter, and it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just going to dump that in there. And give it a mix. It's softened, but not melted. I didn't want to add more liquid. I wanted to add, solid. So I can't even remember if I did it this way last time. I may have just spread the butter on here, and maybe that would have been a better idea. That's why I wear aprons. But I am just mixing this up. And doesn't have to be super exact or super mixed in. All right. And I am going to sort of semi-drain the liquid off. In fact, I have a spoon that I will use to help me with that. So I rolled the whole dough out. And I'm just going to glump and glump and glump. It's kind of fun, actually. And take that out. Oh, now see what's left, I want to eat. Like, I want to just drink it like soup. It's so yummy. All right. Can't really spread it like you spread other fillings. And yes, this is going to be a little messy. You know I love messy. Just look at my kitchen. I have prepared. Now you can do this. You can make this in a rectangular casserole, like you would do cinnamon rolls. Single layer. Today I am choosing to do this. And what I did is I sprayed with canola oil spray. I've heard from several companies that you should never use the Pam brand spray on non-stick items, so for whatever that's worth. So, and the only reason I really spray in there, well, first of all, the parchment isn't you know, fit the whole pan. But also it helps the parchment kind of lay in there, and I can kind of stick it against the walls. So I'm going to try to roll this up. It is going to be gooey and messy. The apples will squish out some, of course, and that's okay. And I'm just going to start layering. They are very loose. Don't worry about it. Because it will be so yummy. And we will turn off the camera now so I can finish, and then I will show you how it turns out when it's all in the pan. So all those apples that leaked out, they are just going on top. Oh my God, I just want to do this and lick it up. So yummy. All right, I'm going to put this into rise as soon as I get my hands rinsed off. And you've seen me do the rise so many times, I'm not going to show you this time. But there is a video that shows you how. So see you in a minute. That's what it looks like. I'm putting it in to rise for 40 minutes. I just turned the oven on my lowest temp for 1 minute and turned it back off again. I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes. Looks like it rose beautifully, and I'm now preheating the oven to 350 to bake it. Yum, 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 yum. I just took this out of the oven, and I don't know about you, but I just want to grab a fork. But I'm not going to do that because this video has to finish tomorrow. Now, it won't be tomorrow when you watch it, but it will be tomorrow for me. I am giving a birthday party for, well, it's not a birthday, it's just one couple coming over, but it's my friend Rita's birthday. And I'm making this tomorrow morning. What I'm going to do, or not tomorrow morning, but when in time for dessert, I'm going to cover this with foil, get it good and heat it up. Then I'm going to make a little caramel sauce by melting down some more of the caramels with a little bit of butter. And I'm going to pour that over the top. And then I may even add some of my Swedish sugar pearls or some powdered sugar. I'll decide tomorrow. But this is the end for today, but it's going to go on for you. So it's only the end for me today. So I told you that I was going to finish this the next day, but it's the same day while you're watching it. I don't even know what to call this, but I'm calling it a salted caramel apple. It might be a galette, I don't know, but it's a coffee cake or a cake. But I made it with my master butter dough recipe. You saw how I made it. And on top, I just melted down a few more of the salted caramels with a little bit of butter. Didn't measure anything, I just did that. And then sprinkled on my favorite Swedish sugar pearls. And now I have friends over celebrating a birthday, and we are going to eat it with vanilla and salted caramel ice cream. Yay!
Wait. Oh.
And this is our birthday girl. So you can all say, happy birthday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, delicious.
Good. I'm about to taste it.
So this is going to be the real end of the video. I forgot that I had to finish it today when I served it. So what I did after I baked that yesterday is I just wrapped it really well in foil, left it in the pan, wrapped it in foil, just left it on my kitchen counter. And when I was ready for dessert today, I turned on my oven to 350 and put it in for maybe 10-15 minutes. I didn't want it hot, I just wanted to have it warmed. You saw what it looked like. I'm sorry I have pictures. I'll put pictures of before I cut it. But what I did is I melted a few more caramels, like 6 of them, in a little pot with a little hunk of butter, maybe a quarter of a stick of butter or something like that. And I just melted it, stirred and stirred, and then we poured that glaze over the top, and then I sprinkled it with the Swedish sugar pearls, and I served it with a choice of vanilla ice cream or salted caramel ice cream. And everybody is loving it, including me. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And the full video will be below or to the side, depending on what device you're using. It'll be in the description. Everything will be in the description. Bye.